Well, see, when you look at somebody like me, I grew up here. There's nothing you can tell me about Memphis that I don't already know.
There's nothing you can tell me about Memphis.
From the boardroom to the streets.
That I don't already know.
With Mike from Memphis, man. Together, we can fix things. Really?
When you say, I want to be treated fairly, and I want a voice.
Yeah. He saw
voice.
things weren't fair, so he chose to run for mayor. You get up and do something when you really care. It's Memphis 360.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
In the meantime,
It's Memphis 360.
In the meantime, in between time, we got folks shooting people up out the frame. Ain't nobody said a word. We've become accustomed to people dying in this city.
Yeah. It's Memphis 360.
Turning the TV on and the news and see our loved ones and see young people that are out of control. And now you see, okay. We talk about incarceration. We talk about the youth. We talk about giving them the ability. We talk about investing in young people and investing in the community. See, I hate ignorance. I hate when people make decisions about things and they make statements and they haven't done their research.
How can you fix the problem when you don't even know what the problem is?
We need some help in this city.
It's Memphis 360.
See, I hate ignorance.
It's Memphis 360. Man.
And good evening. We'd like to welcome you to another edition of Memphis 360, the television show that we said we like to go from the boardroom to the streets. And it's been a while since I have actually done a taping of Memphis 360. Just been burnt out, you know. A lot is going on, not necessarily just in the city of Memphis, but in everybody's life as well. And mine is no exception. Had a lot of things going on in my life, still a lot of things going on, and trying to divide the time so that we can definitely make sure that we are still of sound mind and sound body and able to do the things that we need to do to keep on. But this is Memphis 360. We're coming to you live from the SVP TV studios here in Burbank, California. No, I'm just kidding. This is not Burbank, California. This is live in Memphis, Tennessee. And if you want to catch any of the shows that are coming on to the SVP TV network, you can go and download the SVP TV network app. You can also catch us on Uverse, Apple TV, Roku, Comcast Channel 17 on Friday nights as well. And the number to call is 901-244-6874, area code 901-244-6874. And I would like for you guys to actually talk to me tonight. I didn't necessarily put out a pre-advisement that I was doing the show tonight, and hopefully a lot of people will go back and watch the show. But I would like for some individuals to call in tonight so that we can discuss some of the things that are happening. Prior to me coming on the air tonight, I was able to go over to First Baptist Broad. They're having a symposium or another community talk over at First Baptist Broad. I think the Crime Commission is over there. I saw Sheriff Bonner was on the panel. I saw, I guess it's Assistant Chief Jones was on the panel when it came to, they're going to be talking about some of the crime issues that are happening here in the city of Memphis. As you know, we've been having a rash of crimes. You know, one of the things that amazed me is that they were talking about how crime is down. You know, it kept coming up that crime is down. And we're talking about, you know, a symposium that's being done over that includes the Crime Commission, which the Crime Commission is supposed to be studying ways or coming up with inventive, creative ways to be able to curtail or to do away with crime. And I keep hearing, crime is down here in the city of Memphis. Now, I'm going to ask you, do you think crime is down here in the city of Memphis? I'd like for people to call in and to tell me if, in fact, they think crime is down here in the city of Memphis. I personally don't think crime is down here in the city of Memphis. As I am living and breathing, I don't think crime is down here in the city of Memphis. But you're going to have all of these individuals that are going to tell you that crime is down. But we still have individuals that are being affected by crime on a daily basis. You know, we had the young lady who was kidnapped and raped here in the city of Memphis. We had the young man who went on the shooting spree here in the city of Memphis. We're still having shootings every night here in the city of Memphis. We're having people that are attacking individuals on a regular basis here in the city of Memphis. We have burglaries that are being committed, and now they're doing these snatch and grabs to whereas I guess they back cars up to businesses. You got about 7, 8, 9 young people that jump out of the cars, and then they go into the businesses and they definitely accost the business and rob them for whatever it is that they have of value within that business. But that's what individuals are doing now here in the city of Memphis. And, you know, there was an interesting thing, and I want to thank Pastor Keith Norman over at First Baptist Broad. That's where they're having the seminar or the symposium at. He opened the doors of his church to allow them to come in to be able to have this. And I think it was probably about 50 or 60 people in the sanctuary of the church. That included the panel and a lot of police officers that were there in support of Assistant Chief Jones, I guess. But anyway, so they were there and they were talking about the crime issues. You know, I want to know, how do you guys feel about all of these community meetings that are occurring, have occurred? You know, I'm just, me personally, I was there. I wanted to stop by just to kind of see what was going on. And this is no affront to the Crime Commission or any specific organization. But I'm going to tell you, I'm sick of meetings. I'm sick of meetings on crime. I mean, how many meetings do we have to have on crime to come to some type of resolution to whereas we're all on one accord or we understand what needs to happen to decrease the crime here in the city of Memphis? You know, everybody asks the question, what do we do? Or Michael, what can we do to stop the crime here in the city of Memphis? And just as I spoke on the last Memphis 360 show, you're going to have to do some things that people are not going to like, as opposed to all of this talking. You know, I believe individuals, they do have to get into a room and they have to strategize and they have to come up with a plan and they have to put the plans in motion to be executed. But enough talk is enough talk. I mean, we're talking ourselves to death. That's how I feel right about now. We're talking ourselves to death. And there's really no major plans in place to be able to curtail the crime that's here in the city of Memphis. And a lot of the citizens are feeling unsafe. They're feeling, rightfully so, they're feeling unsafe. They're very cautious about how they move. They're very cautious about the things that they do. You got tourists that are very cautious about coming into the city of Memphis because they don't want to be the next victim of a crime. They don't want to drive their vehicles in here and their vehicles are going to be broken into. They don't want to be staying at hotels and they have fear that they're going to be robbed or carjacked or what have you. And that does affect tourism in this city. That does affect the economy in this city. You know, we talked about if you build it, they will come. If you build it, they will come. But we're building all of these beautiful things and it's kind of not necessarily going to waste because I do see some tourists downtown, but I don't see the impact of a lot of the economic development that has occurred downtown, that it is at the level that it should be. And the reason for that, I do not know, okay? I'm not sure. I don't know if it's that individuals are afraid to come into the city of Memphis, or individuals are not sure of the safety measures that have been put in place to be able to deal with the crime issue here in this city. But I will tell you that I do see some movement in that there are changes being made in the Memphis Police Department. There are changes being done to hopefully keep officers, police officers, here in the city of Memphis. I want to personally thank the citizens of Memphis. I saw something on the news in regards to the restoration of the pension for public safety employees here in the city of Memphis. And it's only by the will, the grace of the citizens of the city of Memphis. I believe in 2018, 2019, the citizens actually went to the polls and voted for a half-cent sales tax referendum that contributed, and it is contributing, anywhere from $50 to $60 million a year into what they call the Public Safety Fund. Now, it's only a couple of things that that fund could actually be used for. And number one was the restoration of the benefits for public safety employees. That is the Memphis Police Department and members of the Memphis Fire Department. And the number one goal at that time was to restore the health care for the retirees. And that was done because those individuals that were pre-65 could not get health care, could not get on the city's health care plans, nor could their family members. And that was putting a burden on a lot of police officers that were actually on the police department and that were retiring at that particular time. And they felt like if, in fact, the health care for the retirees was restored, that it was going to create a mass exodus in the Memphis Police Department and also in the Memphis Fire Department. And we kept telling them that that's not necessarily going to be the case. It is good to know that you have the ability to retire and you're still going to be covered when it comes to health care. Everybody wants to know that they have health care, and especially with everything that's going on now. So they restored the health care for pre-65s, because once you turn 65, you actually go into the Social Security system and you get Medicare, Medicaid. The issue was a lot of police officers with doing 25 years on the police department or what have you, they were incurring a lot of injuries. They were incurring a lot of medical expenses. And you know, it's something to be on the police department and to be employed with the city of Memphis. And as long as you're out here, you're getting stabbed, you're getting into fights, you are chasing people up and down the highway, stepping into potholes, twisting your knees and your ankles. You are Just like the incident that happened out in Frazier when a young man was killed, I believe, by the U.S. Marshals, and the Memphis Police Department had to go into that area. And you had about 27 individuals, either from the police department or from public safety, firemen included, that were injured. So you're incurring all of these injuries, and a lot of them are lifelong injuries. And you're good as long as you're on the police department or the fire department and you're working for the city of Memphis. But what about when you hit 25 and now it's time for you to retire, 25 years, and now it's time for you to retire, and now you have to go out on the economy and you're trying to shop for this insurance in the healthcare market or what marketplace or what have you. That was the problem. And then you were having retirees, widows that were kind of left out there hanging as well. These guys and young ladies have given so much of themselves to the service of the city of Memphis, and now they're made to fend for themselves. So that's why it was so important to get the health care back for the employees. So they restored the health care. But also in 2016, I believe, they changed the pension plan. They went to a hybrid. You get part of a 401k, and those individuals that had been on prior to 2016, they were in the 1978 plan, which would have allowed them the ability to retire at 25 years of service and actually collect their pension. So they started this hybrid, and what that did was stopped a lot of people, or made it very hard for a lot of people to even want to come onto the police department. And that was one of the issues that was on the table at the forum tonight. You had even Sheriff Barner was talking about how hard it is to recruit people. For some reason, you got young people right now that don't want to be police officers. They don't want to be 12. These young people are a lot different. They don't want to be 12, Individuals in my day and time, when they came up, they dreamt of being a police officer. I know I wanted to be a police officer from the time that I was a young man. And that was one of the goals that I pursued when I went into the military. The first job that I had was an MP, military police. So I knew from the onset that I wanted to be in law enforcement. But now law enforcement is looked at as a bad thing with this young generation, with all of the advocacy that have went on, with the things like George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, incidences like that. There has been some bad light cast upon law enforcement. Now, as I always say, I'm not for what happened to George Floyd, you understand? So those individuals need to be held accountable. I always talk about Breonna Taylor. That incident needs to be looked at as well. But I'm going to tell you, there are a lot of good police officers out there that come on with that idealistic point of view, and that they want to help their community. They want to serve the community. They want to try to help young people to get back on track. They want to provide a safe and secure environment and neighborhood for their relatives, because we do have a lot of police officers here from the city of Memphis that actually work here in the city of Memphis. And a lot of them are policing communities that they actually grew up in. So it's as though they do, in fact, have a vested interest in the city of Memphis and in the communities in which they grew up in. But something has happened. And what it is and how we fix it, I do not know. I don't have the answer. But one of the things is, we told the city of Memphis a long time ago, when I was at the police association, that if you continue to take away the benefits of these police officers, they're going to leave. And then you're going to have individuals that are not going to want to come here. Why are you going to want to come to one of the most violent cities in the nation per capita, police the streets of the city of Memphis, and you don't have the benefits? Or you are the lowest paid police force in Shelby County. And I'm not knocking any of the other police forces, but you're the lowest paid police force in Shelby County, but you have the highest call volume. Some call volumes are doubled. The Memphis Police Department's call volume is so high that you could combine most of the other police departments here in Shelby County. You possibly could combine all of them here in Shelby County, and it still would not amount to the amount of calls that the officers in the city of Memphis respond to on a daily basis. So that's why it was so important to restore the benefits for police officers here in the city of Memphis. Now, it's still not a done deal. Mayor Strickland, who was on the council at the time that they was taking away the benefits, and I've been talking to some individuals, and they said that at that time, Mayor Strickland did not truly understand the seriousness or the depth of how the benefits would affect public safety, or taking away of the benefits would affect public safety employees. You know, at that time, a lot of people, especially influential people, people with large companies, you know, it was all about pensions. And a lot of times they didn't want to look over at city employees or county employees and see that they had benefits like a pension. So there was this big thing in regards to the OPEB obligation, and how if in fact everybody from the police department or the fire department left at one time, then the city would be left on the hook or OPEB liability, how the city of Memphis would be on the hook to pay all of these pensions. That would never happen. We told them that would never happen. But if you continue to take these benefits away, you're going to lose them. You're going to lose these individuals, and that is, in fact, what happened. So, by the grace of the citizens of the city of Memphis, they went to the polls and they voted on a half-cent sales tax increase, which went into the public safety fund, which has allowed the city of Memphis, and I want everybody to understand, you're the ones that did this. This is not something that the Memphis City Council did because they were against it. This was not something that Mayor Strickland was for at that particular time because they were against it. They did all of this advertisement. They went on TV. They got people to speak up. They paid folks, you know, all kinds of stuff so that they would be against the referendum. But the people saw through that and they voted for it anyway. So what that has allowed is that has allowed the city of Memphis the ability to be able to give police officers and firemen raises because they were being paid subpar. This allowed them the ability to restore the health care for the retirees. This allowed them the ability to now propose putting all officers back into the 1978 plan or giving them the option to be able to do that. But at the time, it wasn't just about the police either because it was also raising money for pre-K, which freed money up from the City of Memphis general fund, which allowed them the ability to do something else with that money. But it was also for road improvements. And I hope that we're seeing better roads and more improved roads because there is money in the budget. I know for a fact because I was one of the ones that helped lead the effort to be able to get the half-cent sales tax initiative. And there was money put aside for road improvements as well because we were having such a problem with potholes here in the city of Memphis. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't know why you have to do all of these special referendums and try to allocate special pots of monies to be able to give the citizens the quality core services that they need. But for some reason, that was something that we had to do. You know, we had to go out and get 140,000 signatures to be able to get that on the ballot. So I don't want anybody taking the credit for that. I don't want the mayor to take credit for it. I don't want the city council to take credit for it, even though I hope you vote to restore the pension. I'm going to tell you who needs to take credit for it. You, the citizens of the city of Memphis. You were the first ones to step up to the plate to say something really has to be done. You were the one that had the nerve and the intestinal fortitude to say, we're going to step out on a limb and we're going to try to make it right. A lot of the things that had been done to the public safety employees to try to stop the hemorrhaging and the bleeding of individuals running out the door. Because there is already a problem, whether we like it or not. This generation is different. And I know I'm not talking to the choir, and I know that there are other people out there. You know, when you look at your grandchildren, when you look at your children, when you look at your nieces and your nephews, you know that these individuals are different. And I'm not saying different in a bad way. I'm saying they just think differently than our generation did. You know, we knew we had to do certain things. We were bound by certain things. We had it drilled into us. You know, a lot of these young people say, you know, I'm not going to say the blind leading the blind, but a lot of young people say that, you know, we're so conditioned to just do what we're told. And it's not necessarily do what we're told. We are conditioned to survive. You know, we're conditioned to survive. And when you young people start talking all that craziness, I want you to think about who house you running back to. I want you to think about who paying your cell phone bill when you're 30 years old. I want you to think about who, every time you get into a bind out there in the streets, who come to your rescue. It's us old people that have been conditioned, as you would say. No, that's not it. A lot of us seasoned people, we understand that there's certain things that you have to do. We understand that there's sacrifices that you have to make. We understand that freedom is not free, and that you, at some point, have to weigh in on something other than marching up and down the street to be an advocate for some things sometimes that are not so good, and you're just jumping on a bandwagon. Now, in saying that, I'm going to tell you I am an advocate for advocacy. I always tell people I had the police standing on the corner of Poplar and Highland, had the police standing on the corner of Airways and Dunn, had the police standing on the corner of Airways and Lamar, had the police standing on the corner of Elvis Presley and Holmes, or Elvis Presley and Shelby Drive. So we understand that you should have the freedom to do what you need to do. But like I said, freedom is not free. So at some point, you have to weigh in and assume the responsibilities of being those individuals that are the protectors of your community, of being those individuals that are making sure your mother and fathers and your brothers and sisters and young people are safe, of being committed to making this city the best city in the United States, being committed to make this city a safe city where you can go and enjoy the park, where you can go and enjoy concerts and not be accosted or not have to worry about your car being broken into. You know, something Sheriff Bonner said at the forum that really kind of resonated with me. He asked the question, with all of this crime that's going on, has anybody talked to the individuals that are committing the crimes? Because see, this is why I say I'm tired of all of these meetings, because I go to these meetings, I got the sheriff, I got the DA, I got the assistant chief of police, I got all of the good people that are out there in the neighborhood. You know, when we talk about you got to go from the bottom to the top and not necessarily have all of the people who consider themselves to be the shot ballers and shot callers. But the reason why what Sheriff Bonner resonated with me, because we say on this show, you have to be able to go from the bottom to the top. If you're going to fix the issues, if you're going to fix the problems, because you have to know what's on the minds of those individuals that are actually committing the crimes. But if we're having all of these forums and we never have the individuals in there that are committing the crimes, then we're never going to be able to come up with a resolution to be able to fix the crimes. We're just spinning our wheels, and we got individuals that are privileged, individuals that are making $100,000 a year, individuals that have these big old churches, and no affront to Pastor Norman, that's not what I'm hitting at. I'm talking about just period. You know, we got to get beyond the walls in the churches. We got to have a major effort to get out here and to fix the crime in this city, because they're not going to come to you. We got to find a way to reach these young people that are out here in the streets. We got to find a way to save the young people that have not yet turned over to crime, but they're kind of teetering, because guess what? The streets will show them love. When we sitting here, you know, talking down to them, and we're calling them everything but a child of God, and we're sitting here, you know, saying that they are the problem. But you got those dudes out there in the streets that, come on, homie, let's roll. Let's smoke a blunt. Come on, homie. You ain't got no money in your pocket? Let me give you $10, $15, $20. Come here, little homie. Let me show you some love. Oh, and by the way, since you're hanging out with us, you got to put in some work. You know that $5, $10, $15, $20 I gave you? I can show you how to get more money. But that's because they don't have anything positive that's drawing them to the positive side. That's why we got to stop with the meetings. Somebody come up with a plan, a definitive plan. Let's execute the plan. Now, back to, I kind of went off on a tangent, I apologize, but when I started talking about crime, and it just kind of takes me there. Why are you looking at me like that, Miss Debbie? I got Miss Debbie in the studio, y'all. I ain't seen Miss Debbie in a while. Hey, Miss Debbie. Hi. It's good to see Miss Debbie. But we're talking about the pension fund. So I am hoping, and I employ the city council to please restore the pension for the public safety employees. The money is there. We got to do something. But guess what? It's back in your court. The city council were the ones that took it away. They said they didn't have the money. Now, because of the half-cent sales tax referendum, there's plenty of money. Now you have the ability to restore that which was taken away. Do the right thing, City Council. With that half-cent sales tax referendum, it freed a lot of money up on the other side, because a lot of things that were actually coming out of the general fund is now being paid for out of the monies that's being generated from the half-cent sales tax. And that's from 50 to 60 to $70 million a year. So you have a lot of funds. And that's why they're allowed, or they are being positioned to do all of these things that they said could not be done. I can remember somebody telling me, you'll never get the health care back for the retirees. And I'm like, okay. I can remember them telling me, you will never get the pension back. Michael, those are gone. And I don't even know why you're thinking about that. You need to move on to something else. But God, you are not the creator. You are not the one who determined the outcome. God determines the outcome. God touched the hearts and minds of the people. here in the city of Memphis. Because what I am seeing is there are so many needs that the citizens have. And for some reason, the citizens' needs and their safety continue to be ignored. Our children's education continue to be ignored. When you have so many individuals that are in charge that come from a lot of the backgrounds where individuals were indigent, coming out of the projects, coming out of, but see, you done got to that point now, and you're at the table, and you forgot how to feed those that don't have the ability to feed themselves, or to ensure those individuals that may not be as articulate because they talk Ebonics, or may not have the ability to put together a plan, or may not have the ability to speak to what their needs are. But see, you come from there, and you have the ability to speak to what their needs are, and you also are the individual that they elected to represent them to speak to what their needs are. You know what, I think this is why I have not done a show in a while. So are they only giving the benefits back to police and fire? Yes, Miss Hurley Martin. At this point, I think it's only the police and the fire. But I think it was only the police and the fire that actually got out there and, you know, if it was Mike Williams, and if I was king for a day, I think we need to give it back to all city employees. That's me. But you're never going to get those people downtown that you elected to feel the same way. But you elected them. And they down there making all kinds of decisions that don't include you. You know, I got people asking me, you running for mayor? No. Ain't happening. They're already lining up for the mayor's race next year. I'm hearing all kinds of names. Paul Young, Van Turner. I just heard the other day that Floyd Bonner may be running. I hear Patrice Robinson may be running. I hear Pastor Keith Norman may be running. And I'm not saying that they are. I'm not, I don't know. But you know how it is here in the city of Memphis. Can't nobody keep a secret. So they're throwing all of these names out there. And you know what that's going to do. That's going to flood the race. And you're going to have all of these African-American candidates that are going to get into the race. And what are they going to do, people? Split the vote. They're going to split the vote. And if they have another candidate from the Republican Party, or they have a candidate that represents somebody else's interests, they're going to slide right on in. I mean, this is not rocket science, people. But we can't come up with a consensus candidate because we don't have a strong Democratic Party, number one. You know, you say what you want to say about the Republicans. But the Republicans are on one accord when it comes to, they're only going to run one. The Republican Party will only run one. We're going to run 99. Because you're going to have all of those little bitty people that have no name recognition, that have no standing in the community. Nobody knows them, but they're going to run. And to be perfectly honest, they have the right to run. Anybody that's paid up on their taxes, that's a fair and honest citizen, that has done the right things, they have the ability to run. Faye Pulliam said on Facebook, Mike, you should run. And I've had a lot of people that have come up to me and asked me to run, or asked me, am I going to run? And they would support me. And I thank you so much. I really and truly do, for having faith and confidence in me. But the issue is still going to be, if I got into the race, now you got Floyd Bonner in the race, now you got Van Turner in the race, now you got Paul Young in the race, now you got somebody else in the race. I heard Worth Morgan or Steve Covett may get in the race. So now you got all these people with name recognition that have done something, and it's going to come down to the citizens of the city of Memphis to choose who in fact they want to vote for. But when you have everybody that has individuals that want them to run, they're going to split the vote, unfortunately. Okay, I do see there are a couple of people out there. The number to call is 244-6874, 901-244-6874. If you have anything you want to talk about, I've been talking about the restoration of the pension. I've been talking about crime. Why don't you give me a call and talk to me, so I can see how you feel about some of this stuff. I'm standing up here espousing and telling you how I feel and what's going on and how I see things. But sometimes it's good for individuals, because a lot of times my broadcast does get over 1,000 views or what have you. So people do tune in to watch, and they do listen. You know, I don't get a lot of people on the live initially, but I guess at some point they go back and watch. But I definitely tried to get people to participate. When I was on Comcast channel 31, I used to get a lot of callers. I'm messing with Miss Debbie. When I said that, Miss Debbie comes stepping out the door like, why you messing with me? I mess with you because I can. We're going back on Comcast channel 31. That's what Miss Debbie said. Whether we can afford it or not, we're going to go broke. We're going back on. That's what Miss Debbie said. Bring them on camera. Come here, Miss Debbie. They want to see you.
Man, I need to comb my hair.
Hey, y'all. This is Miss Debbie.
Hello, everybody.
This is the owner, executive director, and the brain behind the SVP TV network. When everybody, see, once again, y'all can't determine what's going to happen. God determined what's going to happen.
It's been 5 years.
5 years. Everybody always holler about, they ain't going to make it. They ain't going to last.
Make it.
But guess what? They still over here in this
Who
big old...
has the last word?
Jesus!
All right. And he's spoken.
That's what I'm talking about.
But you know, when he brings you to it, he'll see you
through it. Oh.
And no matter who leaves, he'll take care of you.
Look at
Trust me.
She up here preaching now. Get off my set, Miss Debbie.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the SVP
TV Network. Woo, look at her. And then she get all proper. Wanda Taylor said, hi, beautiful. Hi. She said, I like that. Anyway, like I said, if you want to talk about the crime, if you want to talk about any of the issues that I've talked about, the restoration, how do you feel about the restoration of the benefit? You guys were the ones that voted for it. How do you think the city council should approve the restoration of the pension, or do you think they should vote it down? Do you feel that crime is down? The number to call is 901-244-6874, 901-244-6874. Talk to me. Tell me what you think. Don't have me up here by myself. That's why I went on and called Miss Debbie up here. Like I told you guys, you know, everybody kind of go through something, and I had been feeling for a while like I really didn't even want to do this show anymore. And I'm paid up way in advance. But you know what? Sometimes you just get tired of banging your head up against the wall.
Call from wireless caller.
Hello? I thought it did. Hello? Yeah, I did. It's just a busy tone.
Ask him to call back.
Hey, call back, caller. Evidently, something didn't happen right. Call me back. But what I was saying was, you know, me myself, I was, you know, I think I did 3 shows in July. No, August. I did 1 show in September, and the show got really good ratings. But sometimes you just get tired of beating your head up against the wall, because I've been doing this now for about 10, 11, 12 years. And it's like you asking people, please help me to help you. Help me to help you to help me. Help whatever. And it gets frustrating, and sometimes it even gets depressing, because you see the situation outside getting worse, and then you got to deal with all of your own issues that are going on in your life. Somebody want to talk to me? Hello? Okay, there you go. Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, Miss Katron. Thank you so much.
How you doing, sir?
I am blessed, and I feel so much better now that you called me. I don't feel so alone.
Never alone, Mr. Mike.
I
Never.
know, I know. Let me tell you something, Miss Katron. People show me love every day.
I know.
Yes, ma'am.
I know.
Yeah.
But you're good people.
Well,
you're
thank
good
you.
people.
Thank you so much. So what's on your mind, Miss Katron?
Well, about the restoration of the pension.
Okay.
And you know I was at city council meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
You know the fight that the police and fire had with the city council members.
Yes, ma'am.
What I am having an issue with, Mr. Mike,
Okay.
is that the mayor, and much respect, but he comes out like restoring the pension is, they want all the accolades, but he was one of the main people that fought against y'all pension tooth and nail.
Yes.
And people, they forget. They so easily forget what transpired during that time, and those billboards that you was putting up, all the warriors within you fighting against them taking y'all pension.
Yes, ma'am.
And people, they have forgotten about that.
Right.
So when I heard it, and I called on radio this morning, because it's not exciting to me when you had those police officers, a lot of them jumped ship, a lot of them moved out of town, a lot of them Collierville, Germantown, and now you want to restore the pension, which is excellent.
Right.
So why did you take it in the first place? That's what you was crying out about.
Exactly. You know,
So
we.
I'm listening. I'm trying to get some understanding why, like, we're supposed to clap our hands when he was just knee deep in taking y'all pension.
And that's why, you know, I said that the accolades should go to the citizens of the city of Memphis, because they were the ones who actually stepped out first. All of these things that are happening now, Ms. Katron, is because the citizens of the city of Memphis were the ones that backed the public safety individuals in the city. It was not the city council. It was not the mayor at the time. It was the citizens of the city. And that was after, you know, like you said, we fought. They told me I would never get it back. They told me that we may as well leave that alone and move on to something else, because that was history and in the past, you know.
Yes.
But that's why I say, but God, you know.
But God, I mean, I remember it like yesterday.
Yes, ma'am.
I remember the fight. I remember what you had to go through and how many criticized you, and I was most vocal on the radio to restore the pension.
Right.
So when we passed, when we had to vote on that, I was most vocal about it. I was calling the radio station every day.
Yep, I remember.
Yes, sir. I mean, it was the right thing to do.
Yes, ma'am.
And for them to be down there clapping their hands, no, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Tell the people how we would hear some of the police workers, how they could not afford their insurance anymore.
Correct. That's
They could not go to the hospital because they knew that they could not afford it, how the wives or the husbands could not afford to pay.
That's correct.
You dismissed them off their husband or wife plan if they had other insurance.
Right.
I remember all that.
Yes, ma'am.
So now, yeah, we got what they said in 1900, which okay.
Yeah, but they're saying they need 2,500, so that means you need 600 more. And believe me, Miss Catron, I believe even when I left, they were hovering around 1,900. So they have not been able to get the compliment that they said they need to protect the citizens of this city.
I know, Mr. Mike, that's why, but they did it. They shot themselves in the foot.
That is correct.
Because now you want officers, and now it's hard because they went elsewhere, better pay, better benefits. And so, no, a lot of people not going to put their lives on the line.
That is correct. And especially knowing how violent the city of Memphis can be.
Yes. I agree, Mr. Mike. Yeah. I agree 100%. So maybe it will help by restoring the benefits. I mean, I would hope they would want to do it anyway.
Well, I hope it's not too late because, like I was saying earlier, Ms. Catron, this is a different generation. A lot of them don't want to be the police anyway. A lot of them are not confrontational in that, you know, for you to have to walk up or you to chase somebody or you to have to get out and run and chase somebody and then to possibly get into a fight for your life, a lot of people are just not willing to do that these days.
And understandable because you're right, the climate is different.
Yes.
They're more confrontational now.
Yeah. You know, they shooting at the police. They shooting at the police now.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I know. So I don't have the answer. I'm hoping for the benefit of the citizens of Memphis that maybe some will go and apply. Mm-hmm. But it's a difficult decision, and it is because it is a different climate.
So,
I see it. So what do we do?
So for those of you that don't know, Ms. Catron is the owner of the Old Daisy on Bill Street. She is also over the Bill Street. What's the association?
Bill Street Development Corporation.
Bill Street Development Corporation. Those were the individuals that actually went out and got her husband, Mr. Catron, and some of his business partners. They were the ones that went out and got the initial $23 million that was designed for the restoration of Bill Street. They are also the master leaseholders of the properties down on Bill Street. So Ms. Catron has been doing great and wonderful things. I had the privilege.
Thank you, Mr. Mike.
Oh, come on.
So much.
Come on.
Well, I do. I appreciate you.
Those are things that are earned, you know?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
So how is it going on Bill Street?
It's going fine. I've had 2 court dates in the last, since Monday.
You've had 2 court dates since Monday?
I had since Monday.
Wow.
2 very important court dates.
Okay, well,
So
good.
I'm still fighting, and the city's still coming at me hardball, but I will not give up, so I continue to fight. Yeah, we've been in court twice.
Wow.
And then last week as well.
Wow.
So it's on the, I would not say the fast track, but now that COVID has subsided some, that we're able to go to court, and then we doing it on Zoom.
Okay.
But we have had an actual going inside the courtroom as well. So
All right.
I just continue to fight. That's all I know to do.
Okay. Well,
We go back. Matter of fact, on the 7th of October,
okay.
and the judge will make a ruling on this particular portion of the case. It spreaded some wings doing all this with the management and Randall, that fraudulent settlement agreement
Right.
that they have. So we just have to continue to fight.
Okay.
That's
Well,
what I know to do.
we definitely hope that you're successful in your fight. I can't wait till all of this madness is over so we can throw a major party down there at the
Yes,
old days.
sir.
And we can do some
Sir,
concerts and all that kind of
but
stuff.
God.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you so much for calling in, Miss Catron. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, if anybody else got something real quick you want to talk about, the number to call is 244-6874, 901-244-6874. That was Miss Catron, the owner of the Old Daisy on Beale Street. We were talking about the restoration of the pension. There was one last thing that I did want to kind of weigh in on, and if you want to call, the number is 901-244-6874, 901-244-6874. There has been a long fight that has been going on with Clerk Wanda Halbert, and she was going to come on my show, but she hasn't been feeling well, and hopefully she'll be able to come on at a later time, because I want to just kind of chop it up with her and break it down in regards to she is being said to have went out of town when we were having such a hard problems getting tags here in the city of Memphis. Normally they change license plates every 8 years. I think it's been almost 16 years since they've changed license plates here in the city of Memphis. State Representative Mark White, he has proposed, or he is going to propose, a law that will make it easier to get elected officials out of office. And as he was talking about that, I believe, it was referred that he was trying to put that law forth so that they could get Shelby County Clerk Wanda Halbert out of office. How do you think that's going to pass? Do you think it's going to pass? Do you think it's going to fly? Do you think it's going to grow wings? Do you think the House of Representatives up in Nashville are going to vote for that? Do you think the Senate up in Nashville is going to pass that? What are your thoughts? Well, first of all, I don't think it has legs to stand on. Because, see, this is the problem, or this is the deal. They cannot do a law that is simply and only going to affect Shelby County Clerk Wanda Halbert. They can't do it. If they do a law, it is going to have to affect all elected officials in the state of Tennessee. Do you think these people are going to vote to put a law in place that makes them vulnerable? No, they're not. This is just another ploy to attack Shelby County Clerk Wanda Halbert's character. This is just another stunt. Because I'm going to tell you, if in fact she gets to the point to whereas she can uncover or reveal everything that she is saying is happening over there, when you're collecting almost $200 million a year, and there's no accountability, and there has been no accountability for years, number one, where's the money going? Number two, why can't you get employees, and that's the other thing, employees. Why can't we get employees? Why can't you get finance accountants? Why can't you get a finance department if you're making that much money? to make sure that you accurately account for the money? But I want to get her on the show so she can tell you. You know, she's very articulate. She definitely knows what she's talking about. Sometimes people don't like the way Clerk Halbert says what she says because she is so direct. But sometimes I have to stop and think, is there any validity to what she's saying? Why is she so adamant? You know, and this is just what I know. I know they talk about her going on vacation in the middle of a pandemic or in the middle of the crises with the license plates. But see, I went online and I checked. They're having this problem at other places across the state of Tennessee, but nobody ever mentioned it. They're having the problem with being able to handle the mass requirement of issuing all of these license plates. I'm going to tell you this, the lady ain't crazy. Something is not right. Something is not right. I got Angel over here waving this. She's just going to make sure I see her and her card. She's waving her card at me. 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes. I'm ready to jump out the plane, y'all. I see on here Miss Wanda Taylor with links. Ladies in need can succeed. She's saying that she got 2 ladies or something that need housing. What are you saying, Wanda? I saw something about housing. I'm waiting 3 hours to get tags. And I know that that's the case, Wanda. Those lines are long out there. But I'm, Ms. Deb, you know what? I got all these directors and producers in here that's telling me what to do. And she wants me to tell y'all that this is Facebook. I am looking at Facebook and I'm getting comments on Facebook. I see Miss Taylor on Facebook. The caller who called in, did you say she have property? No, she owns the Old Daisy Hotel. She is the lady 2 comments above you who owns the Old Daisy on Bill Street. Miss Lucille Catron, that's her name. Lucille Mac Catron. You can see her in the feed. So I don't think, first of all, that the law is going to pass. And we'll see. And I'm going to come back and tell you, and I'm going to come back and talk about it. I don't think it's going to grow legs because, like I said, it will affect all elected officials here in the state of Tennessee. But do you ever wonder, too, why they keep going at Ms. Halbert? I wonder that. I wonder why you keep going at her. You got individuals from Nashville, the comptroller, actually coming on TV, mentioning her by name. When you got other clerks in other counties that are stealing money, they never mention their name. They never come on TV. They never comment about them. Is it because Memphis is a big city and it deserves that attention, or is it because there's a reasoning behind it? Anyway, all right. Hey, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to Memphis 360. I may do a show next week. I may not. I don't know. I'm going to tell you straight up. But when I do come on, I want to have something relevant to talk to you about and not just be capitulating and talking about stuff that I don't know nothing about. Because I see a lot of people do that. They just sensationalize and just making stuff up, and it gets on my nerves. But anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to Memphis 360. I want to thank you guys so much for all of the support that you continue to give Mike Williams, the support you continue to give SVP TV Network throughout the years. Please go download the app. Download the SVP TV app. You can catch us on Roku, Uverse, Apple TV, Comcast, Channel 17, and Fire. And you can also see us on YouTube, all right? So please become, you need to support these businesses, these independent businesses, as much as you can, all right? So until next week, same time, same location, be blessed, be strong, be encouraged, and we'll see you next week.